Man, I'm excited for the dating corner. Oh, there he goes. He's gone. We do have to talk about that shirt.
Checking. Shirt. Why this shirt?
Well, because I saw it close up and I changed my mind about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like it. I think it looks good.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you're well dressed.
Okay. Thank you.
What? Why'd you?
I thought you were like, we have to talk about that shirt. Like, it is not flattering.
No.
It's like, oh, okay.
No, yeah, I like it.
It sounded like criticism was coming, but it's not.
No, that's what you remember last week when you were like, "Oh, you got a haircut," and I was like, "Thanks," and then you said, "I didn't say it looked good. I was trying to do the opposite."
Oh.
The opposite, where I was like, "Yeah, we got to talk about that shirt," and you were like, "What's wrong with it?" I was like, "Nothing. It looks good." I was trying
No, that's just a dad joke.
Yeah.
That or like a boomer joke. Someone's like, "Oh, you got a new haircut." You're like, yeah, thanks. Oh, I didn't say I liked it.
Boom, booma. Man, what are we gonna do? Are we just gonna forever call old people boomers? Is that just gonna be what happens?
I guess. I mean, the generation thing can't last.
No,
you know, like
no, there's no way.
this hyper generational and young people, millennials, like that's just what it's going to be forever, because like generational awareness is a very recent thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's only been recently that culture has shifted so quickly that there is discernible differences in generations. So at a certain point, it'll slow down.
But when did we start naming them? Because we're on alpha now.
When was sociology invented?
Oh gosh, like 20 years ago.
Right. So there you go.
Like 20 years ago.
Oh man. You know, they should invent a sociology of dating, and then I should be in charge of it, and then everyone should have to pay me annual residuals to talk about it.
We should start a $500 dating grift.
No joke. I think if we started like a dating, not coaching, but like maybe coaching, and marketed it instead of like, here's an app where you can meet women, but like, hey, here are guys that will help you conquer the things that make you undateable. And it's only $50 a session. First session's free. Minimum commitment, 3 months.
Free consultation.
Free consultation. I don't know. It's a good idea. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
We could sell a lot of things.
An ebook, maybe?
I don't know if that's the thing we want to sell.
No, but what else would we what else could we sell? I don't think we have anything else. You can't sell comedy. You just have to do comedy. So we have to come up with something else to sell, you know?
I know. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. You ready to solve some people's problems?
No. Why doesn't anybody have a podcast for my problems?
They do. It's called The Yard.
The yard actually causes more problems than it solves for me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, is that fair?
Yeah.
Half of them have you blocked on Twitter now.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah. They were arguing about Catholicism this week.
Oh, gosh. Really?
Because Ludwig was like, no, Catholicism is not the oldest branch of Christianity. It's just the biggest and most important. And Aiden was like, no, it's literally the oldest. Like, it was the first one. That's its whole thing. And then Simon was like, Aiden's right, but also Ludwig's right. And Nick's like, I don't know what's going on. And it was really funny. It was really frustrating to listen to and be like, come on, guys. So.
It was funny to hear. I had a similar experience when listening to Alex Hormozy on the Iced Coffee Hour.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about education, and they were just like, yeah, like I feel like people just need to learn like math and English, and like that's really all you need to like succeed. And like we need to teach like basic skills like SEO marketing and Photoshop. And I was like, you guys are so silly. Yeah. That's so silly.
You guys are wrapped up in your own world there.
I know. It's like, this is how you make money, but it's not how like if everyone in the world did this, it would make no sense. If everyone in the world is an SEO marketer, like how would that work? How would that function? How would you go to the bathroom? You don't have a toilet.
Marketing to themselves.
Yeah.
I know it hurts. I'm sorry. This is not your fault. Alright, you came to the right place, you ding dong. It's called communication, baby.
Welcome to Dr. Ethan's Dating Corner, my favorite episode of the Crunch Weekly because I have to do the least amount of legwork. My name is Nurse Patrick.
My name is Dr. Ethan. No comment.
Well, when it comes
Patrick,
to prepping the questions, I have to do some legwork. But you're the one who has to give all the diagnoses.
I do diagnose. I do. I
Yeah.
am kind of like a Johnny Appleseed of dating, where I'm kind of traversing the country and scattering my seed all over.
Well, you wear a little copper pot.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, can we talk about Christopher West for a second?
Sure.
So, do you remember this from Guys Talks? Did you ever hear this little speaking of seed?
Christopher West is a Catholic chastity speaker that Patrick and I heard about.
Yeah.
Heard talk many times growing up.
Christopher West, he was very big on theology of the body. So he read Theology of the Body, and he's like, this is amazing. I got to tell everyone about this. And so he wrote a book that's like Theology of the Body for beginners. Then he wrote like a compendium, like a companion book for the Theology of the Body.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there's a Latin phrase called the man of one book.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah. Thomas Aquinas said, beware the man of one book. What Thomas Aquinas meant was, don't get into a debate about a guy who only reads one book, because that guy's going to destroy you with that book. He knows everything about it. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of morphed into like, beware the guy who only learns from one person.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the phrase is a man of one book, homo unus libri. And let me tell you, Christopher West puts the homo in homo unus libri. I'll tell you that much. Sorry, is that not a funny joke for the podcast?
I mean, I just don't know what the implication is. It is Pride Month still. You're sneaking in at the end.
Sneaking right at the end.
You're saying he's a gay man.
I don't know. I'm just kidding. But Chris, come here. Listen,
Chris,
Tilton, close. Here. I need you to understand what it sounds like
come
to
on,
other
homo
people.
With my unus.
When you as a man go to men's talk, I understand that you're like, wow, the body is beautiful, and like it has so many like theological metaphors tied up in it.
He says things like the face is the genitals of the soul, and you're like, what are you saying, bro?
Whoa, gross, dude. It's just like, I understand that you think that the genitals are a beautiful thing, but we're not there.
Yeah.
Like that's not like what people.
Yeah.
You know, like, so you got to understand that, like, maybe in Eden that would make sense, but here it doesn't. And he said one thing about how the word for semen and the word for seminary come from the same Latin root, which is seed. Now in seminary, it's because the seeds of education are being planted.
Right.
That's why. But he's like, yeah, seminary, you're learning how to inseminate the church. And I was like, hey, buddy. Hey, man.
Read the room.
Stop that.
Because
put a big old halt right there.
That did happen in the late '60s to probably the early '90s. There was lots
talking
of
about sex.
Insemination happening in the church from people who were in seminaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's got. This is like the only thing I'll say about it. I think he's got it backwards. He's like, yeah, we learn about sex and we can like learn things about the church from marriage, and that's backwards. The church and celibacy reveals what marriage actually is. And then heaven reveals, like what we know about heaven reveals what it means to be celibate. And then what we know about the celibates is how, like, what we learn about marriage, right? Because, like, in marriage, it's easy to fixate on sex, but really the key of marriage is like this giving, selfless giving, right? And it's like, that's why celibacy exists, is to reveal to marriage what marriage is supposed to be. Sexual relationships, the sexual relationship does not reveal anything about celibacy that celibacy doesn't already know about itself. It's like saying that a kid reveals to a parent what it means to be a parent. It's like, that's not really true. You know, a kid doesn't know anything about being a parent. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I think Christopher West misunderstands the theology of the body. He's too focused on sex.
Man,
not about sex.
Bold. Local podcaster owns man with doctorate degree.
He doesn't have a doctorate.
He's written a book.
Fine, so have I. That $1.50 will get you a candy bar.
All right. Okay.
Who hasn't written a book about theology of the body nowadays? Jeez.
Me.
Oh yeah, I guess Ethan. You're behind. Everyone else has.
Yeah.
But it's just.
I mean,
I don't know. Christopher West read Theology of the Body, and it was like, wow, this is amazing. And I just think that he just doesn't do it justice. You know, it's not about. He Why do you need to talk to priests about sex? They don't need to know about it. They don't have any frame of reference for sex. They haven't had it. Hopefully.
I don't have a dog in this fight. I think Christopher West is great, and if
Really?
I don't care. Yeah, but it's
I mean, maybe I'm coming down too hard on him.
you
but
are
it's like,
you are
I
coming down
heard
pretty
that
hard
phrase.
on this guy. Has done a lot of good
I
for
hope
the
he doesn't
church.
hear this. Sorry,
Yeah.
buddy. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Actually, now that we're publishers at the same publishing house, I should probably be nicer to him. But but I don't know. I think that I can't believe that he's still saying it 20 years later. I guess is what I'm saying. Like that's just too much, you know.
Probably because people are listening and they're asking for more of what he's saying because it's helping them. I would say.
The face is the genitals of the soul, Ethan.
I did say that.
You said that yourself.
Yeah, because I thought it was funny. Because I thought we were doing jokes.
It is funny.
And I didn't know I walked into a roast session.
Sorry, I didn't mean to come down too hard on him. I should have just stuck to roasting. You can cut that out if you'd like.
No, it's okay.
But-
I don't like to edit the podcast.
I didn't mean to come. I'm like, yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be so harsh. Christopher West is doing good. You know, if it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't know. But the Theology of the Body Institute logo looks like a vagina.
And that's a problem.
That's funny.
Now these are the issues now we do need to get into because
That's funny.
hold on. I think we've
Look
talked
it
about
up.
we've talked about this on the podcast before.
Did they do it on purpose? I
Images.
just need to know. I just want to know.
Ooh. They had to have. They had to have. There's no way. There's no way they don't know. But also, to be fair, like I saw a podcast logo recently that was like in reference to, I think I sent this to you, like the fruit in the pears in the Confessions.
Oh yeah.
And there's two of them and they're hanging kind of close together and one's bigger than the other. And it's just like, man, come on. Like, I know that not everybody was raised in the hypersexual meme culture that you and I grew up in, but it's like, you got to run it by like a 17-year-old before you post it.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, does this look like any sexual organs? No, it doesn't look like any of them. Awesome. I'm going to keep moving forward.
Well, the thing with it is there's only two. So, like, you should know generally there's only two sexual organs. So you should just generally know what shapes make those. You know what I mean?
You're only rocking two over there?
I only have two.
Maybe this is why
Personally.
Patrick doesn't understand the theology of the body. He's missing the other three.
I just have three sexual organs.
I don't have time to explain
Ethan
all
said
this to you.
Ethan said trans rights.
I did not say that. This has nothing to do with the trans issue. This has everything to do with you missing out. Can we answer some dating questions?
Gross.
I don't want to talk about
Yeah,
sex
sorry,
anymore.
Christopher. Sorry, Christopher West. Sorry, Christopher West. You're good at what you do.
Yeah, he's gonna listen to this and he's gonna cancel you. He's gonna tweet about you.
I always try to make sure that if we talk about someone that I speak about them in a way that I would be okay with them hearing. Because you never know who listens to the podcast.
That's true. You do never know, and there could be people who need dating help that are listening to the podcast.
Oh, I'm pulled. So you want me to pull? You want me to ask this question?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay. Hello, Dr. Ethan and pharmacist Patrick. I've been demoted. Long-time listener, first-time caller to the Dating Corner. Please keep this anonymous. I'm not writing for myself, but I'm writing for my friend. Let's call her Eunice. Eunice. First of all, ditch the name. That's my advice.
First piece of advice:
20.
head down to the office and get that old.
Yeah, get that changed.
Yeah.
Eunice is a 25-year-old female devout Catholic teacher and godmother of my youngest daughter. We've been friends for 5 years. She's never seriously dated anyone
Okay.
in that time period, despite really wanting to get married. Over the last year, she's developed a pretty big crush on my younger brother. Let's call him a Darnell, who is 20 years old.
Eunice and Darnell, a match made in heaven.
A match made in
Yeah,
1896.
two names of people that don't exist.
Darnell lives 2 hours away,
Okay.
is going to school and getting a Parks and Rec degree. He's also a practicing Catholic. Eunice is nervous to say anything because of the age and distance gap and potential drama within our family. We've tried to introduce her to some of my other brothers' friends from the Latin Mass community, one of the most oppressed communities. But she seems apprehensive and conflicted. Wait, they should get a flag. We should make a flag for the Latin Mass community.
Yeah. What would it say?
The LGBTLM plus community.
LGBTLM.
Yeah.
LGBTLM.
Yeah.
I don't think that would
You're
go
like-
over well. What if it was a flag, but it was just a picture of Father Chad Ripperger? I think people would like that.
Stepping on a snake, saying,
Yeah.
"Don't tread on me."
Stepping on a snake, saying exorcise demons from your wife, even though it's questionable as to whether or not you have that authority.
What?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
he didn't say
His
that.
whole thing is like, you're the spiritual head of the household, so you need to exorcise the demons from your family, from your kids, and from your wife.
Sure, but like the demons aren't a part of your household.
I'm just saying what he's saying.
Be careful. Okay. That's all I got to say. What should she do? Make a move on my brother? Does she need more of an effort to meet Catholic guys in other communities? Please give us your diagnosis, doctor. P.S. Love the pod. Bring back the Google voicemail.
Golly. People want us to go backwards. I'm only going forwards. I'm not going backwards anymore. How old's the brother? She's 25. How old is he? He's in college.
He's 20.
He's 20?
He's 20.
Okay, that's not that crazy.
No.
Does the brother like her? I feel like we're missing a key component here. Like, she has this huge crush, but that is only half of the equation, right?
Yeah.
Do they talk? Like, I don't know. I mean, I would need to know more about her relationship with this brother.
Well, it seems like he thinks they're compatible. If the question is, "Hey, should I like say something? Should she make a move on him? I don't know. Maybe you should like suggest it to your brother. Hey, have you ever like when he's back in town, like, hey, what do you think about Eunice?
Think about Eunice,
And then when you
Darno?
find Look, if you're trying to matchmake, you got to gather as much information as possible. I know this was like taboo when we were in high school, but trust me, it works. You want to get as much information as possible, and then if they both like each other, then you got to get them together. If one of them says no, then just kind of like slyly, like you have the friendship with Eunice to know that she likes your brother. You obviously have the friendship with your brother to know if he likes her. So just find out if he likes her and then just tell him, hey, she likes you. Ask her out. And it's not a problem.
Yeah.
I did that with my friend, and they're married now. They have 2 kids. So
One thing that Eunice could do, she could go back to school.
oh gosh.
Have you ever had a crush so hard on someone that you re-enrolled in college 3 years after you
No.
graduated? Then you've never really
Did I?
loved,
No.
Patrick. I will say that.
No, that's true. 'Tis better to have loved and lost than to have never gone to college at all.
And just think about, like, this is every 25-year-old's dream to go back to college. So you could,
Oh yeah.
you could think of the worlds that are untapped for Eunice. I think
Think of the savings.
if Eunice is really interested, I don't think there's anything wrong. And it doesn't even matter. I mean, if you're 20, can you imagine being 20 and having a 25-year-old woman calling you and saying, "What's up? What's good?" I'd be like, whatever,
No, I can't.
whatever's up with you. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. Yeah.
it wouldn't, I don't know, maybe it would freak me out, but like, maybe in like a good way.
It might freak me
You
out.
know,
Yeah.
like maybe in like a, ooh,
Yeah.
you know, maybe there's something, maybe I've got something that I didn't know that I had, you know? I
would freak out because it means, yeah, I'm getting married in the next 2 years. Like that's on the table, because like
Yeah.
a 25-year-old doesn't have a lot of time to mess around.
Sure.
Right. They're staring down the barrel of 30, and then once 30 hits, they're gonna be like
Yeah.
TikTok.
But what's the 20-year-old's alternatives? He dates another 20-year-old woman. I mean, I guess, but like,
Yes, that is the alternative. What are you talking
yeah,
about?
but what are any of them Eunice?
That's an alternative.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe not. I don't
I
know.
just feel like if I was a young buck and I was 20 and I was catching vibes from a 25-year-old, I'd be like, all right, let's see how this goes.
Let's try.
Let's try it out. So I think, I don't know, regardless of whether or not he likes you, I think you just go for it because you've got so much power. You're this adult woman. You're cool.
Yeah.
Everyone is of a consenting age, so there's nothing weird here. But it's just like
You drive a car. You can drink.
you can drink.
So-
You've got a lot of
You can rent a car.
you've got a lot that he doesn't have, and so I think you bring a lot to the table. And so I don't know. Yeah, just tell her to call him. She has a crush. Tell her to call him. Go visit. Go to college.
on.
Go to a tailgate. Buy alcohol for him. Get him really drunk, kidnap him, make him your husband. It'd be fun. It'd be kind of cool. I don't know.
Oh man.
Yeah, this is cute.
Yeah.
I like this. I like the I have a crush on the younger brother. That's kind of fun.
That's cute. Yeah, I mean, you have two options, right? Like, you can either find out if your brother likes her, and then if he does, tell her, or tell him.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, tell him. Be like, hey, she likes you. She likes you too. Do you want to date her? And then, or your option is just tell her to do it and just make a move, because that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems
Is there a way
good.
that you can invite them all to like a Christmas party or something, or maybe a 4th of July party? I know it's short notice.
And get them underneath the mistletoe. It's short notice.
This comes out the day
point.
after the 4th of July.
I'll say.
Yeah, you could maybe a Labor Day party. Can you get them at a lake or something? Pump them full of alcohol and just get them to confess.
Truth serum, we call it.
Yeah, in vino veritas, right?
In vino fertilization.
No.
What?
Well, I think in that case, a lot of kids have been born via IVF. I will say. Yeah, I'm an IVF baby in vino fertilization. That's really funny.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna steal that and tweet it.
No.
Is there a way that you can arrange like a meet cute, where you like tell your brother like, hey, do some push-ups before you walk in. You tell Eunice like, hey, put on your tightest fit. You're like you're look like the fittest bird that you can look like. And
did you use gym slang on my Catholic podcast?
fit bird is a UK thing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nick's friends texted him that like, yeah, I was lifting 2 plates with 2 bad birdies on either side. I'm like, what are your friends saying to each other? What language are you speaking?
You go to the gym and he has 2 cans on either side of him.
And they're both screaming. They're bad birdies.
And they're doing drugs and they're killing people.
They're bad.
And
They're smoking.
They're doing fellies. They're smoking weed.
Yeah.
And they're transporting artifacts from Israel back to the United States.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's bad birdies
Those are
right
bad
there.
birdies, man. I don't trust them. All right, you get another question?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That's a good one. All right. This one comes from a fella. Dear Mr. Doctor, good Dr. Ethan.
All right.
I hope you're well,
Hey.
because I'm not.
Oh.
I'm in need some of that.
Let's stop right there. We got to work on your,
I am
your
in need.
introductions. Oh, man.
I'm in need of some of that opposite gender advice. And no, not in a 2023 way, but like a 2012 way. I'm a full-time youth minister, and I have no time to date.
Wrong.
Never mind actually go on the... Okay, I have no time to ask someone or go on dates. Every young adult event I go to, which is most of them, I'm working. So it tends to be weird to try and ask someone on a date. Additionally, I tend to be one of the youngest single men in attendance. I'm 27. To sum it up, I'm decent looking, broke youth minister with a B+ sense of humor and a desire to outbreed the left. That's a funny thing to say. In order to make America more red than a 1984 presidential election map. Help me, Dr. Ethan. You're my only hope. Hey, have you heard of this guy named Timothy Gordon? He's got a really great app. You might want to check out.
You do have time. You have the same amount of
you're
time
good.
as everybody else who's ever gotten married. You just are choosing to prioritize your life differently. So you got to be honest with yourself. First, it's like you say you don't have time, but you do. You're just choosing to not take advantage of the time that you have. I promise you, you are not so busy that you don't have time to go on a date. Like, I know you're a youth minister, and I know that they're the most persecuted group in America right now, but you're not working 168 hours a week. You just aren't. You have time to sleep. You have time to eat. You have time to take an hour break, even in the middle of a work day, to go on it. Like, you have time. So, like, let that lie filter out of your head.
Yeah. And if you don't, you need to work less.
Yes.
You need to either be like, I don't know, there's part of it you can control. You can be better at structuring your volunteers so they're doing more of the work, which they will do if you ask them to. Don't worry about it. Or if your youth ministry is so big that you're going on retreats every month because you're like running all these retreats, you need to make your parish hire someone to help you.
Yeah. Or just do less. You know?
And just be like, sorry, can't do anymore. Yeah.
It's like your youth ministry doesn't have to be the best in the country. It just needs to be like the kids aren't going to notice that you put in 5 hours fewer, into Life Night. They're not going to notice. They're just happy to be there because they want to be with their friends. The guys want to date the girls, and the girls want to hang out with the other girls. And that's why they're there, And yes, they're also there for Jesus and they care, all these things. But like at the end of the day, they're not coming because, our youth minister just puts in so many hours. That's not the reason that they come. So anyway, let that lie out of your mind. It's not weird to ask someone out at a young adult event if you're a young adult. It doesn't matter if you're working or not. Like that just feels, it feels like you're putting up a lot of arbitrary barriers for yourself as to why you cannot date, and then pointing at those barriers and then saying, well, I mean, I'm good looking and I've got a good sense of humor and I want to, have babies and all these things. So like, man, if only these things were not in the way, then I could date. It's like, well, those things actually aren't in the way. So you just have to like take the good things about yourself and then just start going. I think you might be afraid. Of what happens if you try.
I mean, it's hard to be like, I don't want someone to think I'm weird. I don't want to like,
what if someone,
I get it. You're running a high school youth ministry. You're probably also running the young adult group.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably also running the middle school youth group. You're like, I could meet people at the young adult group, but that would be weird. Like, cause I'm working. It's like, all right, look, let me be honest with you, man. If you're a young person and you're at a young adult group, I don't care if you work for the church,
right.
You're not working. The church is doing this for you. You just happen to be organizing it. So like,
right.
I'll reap the benefits of the young adult group that you're a part of.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to do that. Like part of the young adult group is because young adults want to meet each other and get married. That's it's not utilitarian. It's just
part of it.
Community.
Yeah.
That's what happens in a community.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be surprised if people weren't meeting and getting married at young adult group. I would be thinking, that's interesting. That's strange. Why is that not happening? So why not you?
My youth minister in high school.
We met at young adult group. That's cute.
My youth minister in high school started dating one of his volunteers, and now they have children, and they're like happily married.
It's fine.
And so it's like, it doesn't matter. So
no one from HR is going to get mad at you.
Yes.
There's no HR department,
right.
Obviously. Have you seen everything that's been happening in the last 10 years?
To the church at all? I think you are placing a lot of arbitrary boundaries in front of yourself because you're afraid of what might happen if you try. And so I think you just need to let go of all of that. Actually look at your schedule. Look at your calendar. And then say, I'm going to sacrifice this time of work, or I'm going to sacrifice this activity so that I can go on a date and I can set this time aside for a date.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get over myself and get over my fears. And the next time I'm in a room with a woman that I would like to take on a date, I'm going to just ask her and then just see how it goes, Mm-hmm. And then I almost guarantee you that once you do that, all of those other things are just going to you're going to find time to get the work done. You're going to not see any difference in how people view you or treat you at the young adult events. Just don't stop worrying so much. You're fine. You're in your head too much. You got to get out of your head.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, buddy.
You're doing
fine.
Great. Keep it up, man.
All right. Next question. I got one from you today.
Who? Me?
That's crazy.
I don't need any advice.
Yeah. That you texted me.
Oh, yes.
Dr. Ethan, help.
No.
So we got time for two more, right? Because I have two more.
Yeah, we got time for two more.
All right. Dr. Ethan, help. Your answer to the net of love question on Wednesday was super relatable. I appreciate your truthful answer. Just curious, how would you change your answer if can you refresh my memory on what this was, the net of love?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Yep. Oh, no.
I think it was like the person from Net is coming back and they like maybe went on a date before but wanted to go on a date again and weren't sure what to do. I think that was what it was.
Okay. How would your answer change if I, the woman, have a crush on a man? We met last summer, remained friends, and are now back in the same city. We see each other 2 to 3 times a week after work, usually for a CYA event at church. I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is?
Catholic Young Adult.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes I can't tell if he's flirty or just friendly. He doesn't reply to my text urgently. Yeah, that's a big red flag, personally. Just kidding. So my guess is that he feels platonic. I just started my full-time job. He will finish his last year of school. Next semester, he'll be in China, which is very far away. Yes. Should I say something about my feelings? Wait for him to make the move. He's the kind of guy to feel men should move first. So could I tell him like I like him without making the first move? For context, I've never dated anyone before. Thanks.
I wouldn't read too much into the texting thing.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Not every guy is good at texting, even if they like someone. I know, right? So I think you can't.
I like you, and I'm bad at texting you, Ethan.
Yes, I know. But so I wouldn't worry too much about the texting thing. I mean, if you see him multiple times and you feel like he's flirting, like, I don't know. I feel like it's really difficult as a guy to, like, if I am in a group, like a young adult group, and I'm going to multiple events a week, I'm not going to repeatedly hang around a woman that I don't like spending time with, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm not going to just
3 times a week.
3 times a week, and like you guys
That's
are
a
having
lot.
enough conversations that you feel like he's flirting with you. Like when you're in a group of 20 people, you kind of have to go out of your way to be with someone of the opposite gender. You know what I mean? Like guys will naturally gravitate towards guys, girls will naturally gravitate towards girls, unless there is some like link. So there's like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or there's like people who like each other, you know. Otherwise, like if none of the guys like none of the girls, and there's no attraction between any of the 10 of each gender, then they're just going to stay in guys and girls, which is fine, you know. But the fact that like he's crossing the boundary, he's making the move.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, that to me that says that he's like putting in some type of effort in these 2 to 3 times a week things to talk to you and to be around you. Because like, I don't know, when I was single and if I didn't like a girl, I just wouldn't talk to her, and I wouldn't use my jokes on her. Like I just wouldn't waste time. I just wouldn't waste my time. You know, it's like I gotta.
If I was catching vibes from her, I would avoid her.
Yes, actually.
And they would never take the hint.
Yes, dude. This is actually a huge fact that I think a lot of girls don't know, which is if a guy picks up that a girl likes him, which is a lot of times it's easier to tell than you think, because I think we're on hyper.
Well, this one sat on my lap. So that was obvious. Yeah.
I think we have hyper awareness for like when a girl that we know that we definitely don't like likes us. You know, I think that's the one time that guys' radars are activated.
Or like, oh no.
And they're like, oh frick, I have to make sure that this is not reciprocated at all. And so I'm going to be very platonic. Whereas when it's like a girl that we actually like, we're so wrapped up in our hormones and our whatever that we can't even see straight, you know, so it's different, right?
Yep.
So I think he probably knows that you like him, and he's probably going out of his way to spend time with you. He's probably thinking about the China thing. China.
Yeah.
Sorry. Love China. Oh, big fan of China. Why is he going to China when he could be
suspicious?
That is suspicious. So think about that.
That's
Think
suspicious.
about that if you want to
That's weird.
date and marry a liberal communist.
Or commie.
I don't think China is a reason to not date someone.
I agree.
Just as a concept, I think we should allow China to exist, and then we should also date people. You say that he's the type of man that wants to make the first move. You don't know that? I think it's perfectly fine. You're young adult. You're going to a young adult group. You're probably 25. You're 24. He's probably 23. Go to him and be like, hey, I know you're going to China. I'm really going to miss you. Oh, I want to have your kids.
Oh.
Okay, no, sorry. Let me workshop that.
Don't do that.
I know you're going to China, and they're known for their manufacturing. Would you like to, and their large population, would you like to manufacture a large population with me?
With me.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So I think that's...
Would you like to contribute to global carbon emissions by making baby with me?
I know you're going to China, and I know they have a one-child policy. Crazy thing about me, I don't have that policy. So maybe we hang out
So
and we
Maybe we
maybe
hang
we
out.
break some policies together. You know, there's lots of things you could say is what I'm trying to get at. There's
Yeah.
lots of lines
Oh,
that
yeah.
you could use.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it up. Don't be afraid to bring it up. I think it's
No,
it's okay,
you're good.
because then worst case he goes to China, he dies, and then you know that like he didn't like you, so it's fine and you can get over it pretty quickly.
Yeah, because if he liked you, he wouldn't have died.
Yeah, if he liked you, he wouldn't die in China like an idiot, stupid
idiot.
American.
Come on.
What do you think? You have any other thoughts
right.
on that?
No, that's all my thoughts. I think if he's the kind of guy who thinks that guys should ask girls out, maybe he should do it before you have to.
Right. It's like, hey,
Oh, you think guys should ask girls out? Tough. You're not doing it. So
right. Hey, the only reason I'm saying this to you is because you haven't done it yet. So,
Yeah. All right. This one's a long one.
Okay.
Old Testament names. So it's a bit long. Sorry. I'm sending it via email so as not to clog up the Dating Corner channel on Discord.
Sure.
My name is okay. My name is Ellie. I have a dating dilemma. Here's some backstory you need to know. There's a guy I grew up with. We'll call him Ezra. He was at my church. I've always had a crush on him. Never been a serious crush. More of a he's cute guy, church at my age kind of crush. Over the years, we know that we know those well.
Yes.
I've had several of those. It's never been a serious crush. Over the years, our parents grew from being polite acquaintances to friends, but Ezra and I have always been that polite hi-bye as we arrive or leave Mass, mostly because I spent my high school years awkward and insecure. Look, come on.
Come on. We've all been there.
Fast forward to present day. I'm almost 30, and I moved away from home 5 years ago. He's also moved away from our hometown. I rarely see him because of this. Honestly, he hasn't crossed my mind. And he doesn't think of me, except when I'm on TV. Okay.
happening?
That one was for Madeline.
You do Taylor
Uh,
Swift?
Yeah, I did a Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Ezra's, however, past weekend, I saw him for the first time in a couple of years. Ezra's parents invited my parents to a party because I was back in town for the week. I figured I would tag along. To my surprise, Ezra was there too. And our parents and siblings and Ezra and I spent the whole evening chatting, catching up. First of all, Ezra was just as handsome as I remember, maybe
ooh la
even
la.
more so. Ooh.
Wow.
I also learned he's funny and kind, has a great job,
Yes.
lives in a town, is 6'2", and could beat up Elon Musk. She didn't say that. I'm just kidding. Lives in a town about 4 hours away from me and is single. My mom asked him, and then his mom asked me if I was single.
Great.
So they're sitting in this group conversation, and mom goes, "Oh, Ezra, are you dating anyone?" No, and then Ezra's mom goes, "Oh, by the way, Ellie, are you dating anyone?" That's
That's
crazy.
so wild. I can't believe that we had this
That's
party
crazy.
that's totally not planned.
There's so much in common.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. It was
The
definitely
parents
planned.
were
Are you
in on
kidding
it
me?
from day one.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Despite knowing him and his family since I was in middle school, this is the most we ever talked, and I really enjoyed talking to him. I found myself wanting to get to know him more by the end of the evening. I also felt like he was looking at me quite a bit.
Ooh.
My sister later confirmed. She knows, dude, it is so on.
This
It is
is-
so on.
Honestly, W parents right now. This is huge
Right now.
from the parents.
Dude, 4 hours is also nothing,
Yeah.
all right? Come on, you guys got history. That's a cute story. You know, like I love it. Unfortunately, he left our hometown first thing Sunday morning.
He died.
I didn't
on
have an
mainland
opportunity
China.
to I didn't have an opportunity to ask him if he wanted to hang out again. As we said goodbye, we gave each other a longer hug than usual. He kept his hand on the small of my back. Whoa, what's all this color commentary? Jeez.
Holy cow.
Holy cow.
A little warm in here all of a sudden. Goodness gracious.
As he said, it was
This is
nice
a-
to see
this is
me
a
cue the butterflies.
Family-friendly podcast, man.
Yeah, get out of here with your smut, Stephanie Meyer. Come on. Cue the butterflies, she said. I've spent the last couple of days feeling silly for missing someone I don't know much and regretting not asking for his number. He didn't ask for mine, which my sister said maybe he was nervous to ask for it in front of our families, but who really knows why he didn't ask. My sister suggested we look him up on Instagram, but couldn't find a profile. Based. So finally, doesn't have social media. So finally, here's my question. Would it be too much if I asked my mom to give his mom my number? Not at all.
No.
Do it.
No.
It feels silly doing that because we're both 29, but our moms are the only connection I have to possibly get his info. Or should I wait until I possibly see him or his parents again at Mass and pass my number along then?
No.
Maybe I should just leave it. That it's a simple crush. Part of me thinks if he was interested in me, he would have asked for my contact info.
Do you know
Let me know what you think is the best course of action, Ellie.
guys
ahead.
are so stupid. That he probably here's what was going through his mind. hey, this might be weird if I ask like my family friend's daughter for her number in front of my parents, and I don't want to deal with my parents going, "Ee," and so I'm just not going to ask for it because the embarrassment for my parents is so large that I just don't want to deal with it. So probably what he's thinking is the next time I see her and I can get her away, I'll ask for it, or I'll friend her on Facebook and
or something like that. Yeah.
So that's probably what he was thinking. I think pass the number along, because then he'll have it. And then if he doesn't reach out to you, then you'll know that it's not his thing. Right. But between the looking and the hugging and the smut, I think that there is a good chance that he's somewhat interested, and he's single and you're single and you have history. Like, I don't know. This to me feels like not a slam dunk, because you never know with 6'2" handsome men. I mean,
it's true.
I've had my heart broken many times by this type of guy. And but yeah, just pass it along. There's no harm in it. No harm in it at all.
No.
Not embarrassing, not weird. I'm all for not waiting. Don't wait. Take action now, because he could die.
On mainland China.
This is cute though. It's a cute
And if
story.
you're interested in a guy who dies on mainland China, the one child policy applies to you, and you're only allowed to have one child. So
wait, is that true?
No. Sorry, I'm very convincing.
Yeah, you are. That's one thing that I've noticed about you, is that you convince me.
I've had to stop doing that kind of joke to my wife, because she'd be like, "Really?" And I'd be like, "No, I'm sorry." And she'll be like, "Patrick, I told you to stop doing that."
Yeah, I do that to Emma also.
Yeah,
it's
good.
tough, because it's just like,
this is why our wives get along, because they deal with the same crap.
They really do. The problem is that I don't just do it with Emma. I do it when there's other people over, and so the joke is for me, because the funny thing is that Emma knows that I'm joking, but other people don't. And so the funny part is that she's annoyed with me, and that those people believe what I'm saying. So I'm like, I get to kind of be like a little social puppet master.
A little puppet
like
master,
2 minutes, and before she jumps in and goes, he's joking. He's like not telling the truth. And then they go, oh. And then they're kind of dismayed, and she's annoyed, and I'm just happy. Like that's that's what I really like.
You're more like a social, not puppet master, but tarantula. Sucking all the juices out of the social situation.
Tarantulas suck juice?
Probably.
I thought they spun webs.
I don't know. They're always on the ground. I don't know. Do tarantulas spin webs? If you got bit by a radioactive tarantula, would you get webs shooting out of your butt, or would you just crawl on the ground a lot?
You would get a multi-film franchise, probably.
The first thing that you see when you look up tarantula is guys holding tarantulas.
Disgusting.
That is silly. A large group of often hairy spiders in the family of Therophosidae. As of August 2022, 1,000 species have been identified. It's ridiculous. Like all arthropods, they're invertebrate. Who cares? I want to know if they spin webs. Sexual dimorphism. Okay. All right. Happy Pride Month, everybody. I guess they can switch.
They're spiders. Of course they spin
tarantula spin. Do they? But have you ever seen a tarantula web?
I haven't seen a tarantula until a couple days ago.
Tarantulas don't spin typical spider webs. They have silk. They spin silk, and they just poop silk.
Okay.
They don't spin webs.
They kind of drag a trail of silk behind them.
Yeah. They don't catch their prey in webs.
Man, I don't want to talk about tarantulas anymore. I really don't.
What do you want to talk about?
I like them.
We got to talk about some kind of spider. You want to talk about wolf spiders instead?
No, I just. How
about a brown recluse?
The whole arachnid area of conversation is off limits for me now.
You're really gonna be arachnophobic?
I will.
On the last day of Pride Month.
Yes. I will.
Well, thank you all for listening. You can follow us on Instagram at The Crunchcast. You can also follow this podcast to get an episode, 3 episodes a week. On Sunday, we solve the world's problems. On Wednesday, we solve your problems. And on Friday for our Patreon, we solve our problems. So you can join us on Patreon for a bonus podcast on Friday, and you'll get access to our 40-episode back catalog and every bonus podcast we do from here to Kingdom Come. You'll get 3 Crunch episodes a week. That's the main show, Dating Corner, and the bonus podcast, all for $10 a month.
Not to mention, we get a little explicit on the bonus podcast. So if you,
you
like us and you want to hear us really let loose.
When I came downstairs from last week's the bonus podcast we posted on Friday, my wife was like, "You were mad," and I was like, "Yeah, I got mad. I got mad this week."
Patrick was mad. So you want to check it out? Patreon.com/crunch, the place to be.
Ethan.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else for the people?
If you go to mainland China, don't let them take you away.
Thank you all for listening. Please pray for us. We will be praying for you, and we will see you all next time.